Over the past couple of years, I've incorporated more toxic positivity into the channel just to add that extra element of FU in my commentaries because there's always going to be that one guy at work that doesn't get it. He shows up to work, you know he's clinically depressed in his real life, but he shows up anyway with a big smile and talking about teamwork and how this is going to be the best day of work he's ever had. And you're just like, shut up, because it's not real. We know that you're putting on a face. You're literally coming to work and saying the exact opposite of what you truly feel in your daily life. I don't know why those people exist or why they have to come up to you at work and ask you what's wrong. It's like, what's wrong? What's right? That's what I would ask. What's right with the world when you can look at your paycheck and know that it's already gone? It's not even it's already gone. But with that said, the title of today's video is If You're Poor, It's Your Own Fault. You made bad decisions. You're not good with money. It's always your fault. You ever notice how the CEO can crash a company and still land a bigger paycheck? But if you're late to your piece of crap job, you're suddenly a lazy failure. Capitalism loves to sell us the lie that poverty is just bad choices, like you accidentally clicked the wrong button on life's menu. But here's the catch. The menu was rigged, the prices are fake, and no matter what you order, you're getting the struggle meal. Welcome to the economy where being broke is treated like a personal trait instead of a trap. This is what I've never understood about working piece of crap hourly jobs, is that no matter what you do, the management's going to point at your shoes and ask you, why are you wearing those fancy shoes when you can't pay your rent? And you're just going to look at them like, really? My shoes are the reason why my paycheck just doesn't stretch far enough? Or they'll point out something else to make certain that you understand. It's not the low wages. It's the fact that you can't save money. But those are the excuses that rich people use in order to make fun of poor people for making $300 a week. Let's say you're making 15 bucks an hour, you're getting part-time hours, and you're wondering why you can never pay your rent without having to sell something every single month. Well, what does $15 look like in a paycheck? Well, I can tell you this much. It's not a whole lot of money. And once you take out the little necessities of life, the occasional drink or a bag of chips at work, it is a lot less money than you can possibly ever imagine. It's not enough money to live by yourself. You're going to be renting a room, but you're going to be spending 75 to 100% of your monthly income just to survive. In fact, I just talked to that person yesterday because somehow she convinced an apartment complex to rent her an apartment even though she makes $15 an hour times 30 hours a week. And I asked her, it's like, how are you paying your rent? She said, I have to figure it out every single month. And now that she had to move so far away from where she works, she's got to spend $20 each way for an Uber. Now, imagine you're making 15 bucks an hour and 3 of those hours are already eaten up by your transportation costs every single day. And this isn't something that I haven't seen before. When I worked at Walmart, we had people who lived very far away and would often have to take these expensive rides because they just didn't have the time to take the city bus or the train. It would just take too long. If you guys have ever tried to take any sort of public transportation, you'll acknowledge the fact that it's not designed around efficiency. It's not taking you straight to the front door of your office building or your grocery store, wherever you make the minimum wage. They told us that poverty was just about bad choices. But the truth is, the system was designed like a casino, where the house always wins. The billionaires sit at the VIP table, sipping champagne, while you're hustling with pocket change at the penny slots. And the best part? They'll still call you a loser for not cashing out big. Chin up. Being a loser comes natural to poor people. That's the great thing about losing at life. So many people lose just by waking up in the morning. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning this morning because I couldn't sleep anymore. Last night, apparently, at some point between midnight and 5 o'clock in the morning, I got up and I ate some beef jerky, a granola bar, a banana, some raspberries. I was on a tear. I have no memory of it because sleep eating is a natural reaction to not having enough money for food. Because you try to ration out your food so that you have enough to get you through to your next paycheck, but your body's like, you know what? I'm hungry now. And so you wake up and there's a trail of disaster, like a Tasmanian devil went through your house eating every little thing that they could. And you wake up and you just pick up a banana peel here, a wrapper on the floor over here, a wrapper over there. And you're like, what happened here? This was supposed to last me 5 days. Well, not a chance. To them, being poor isn't about rent hikes or medical bills. It's about you not journaling hard enough or skipping your morning of affirmations. Meanwhile, you're drowning in debt while you're manifesting, while they're manifesting their next yacht. But hey, don't be sad. Poverty is basically just the universe's way of giving you free exposure therapy. Smile through the eviction notice. Now that's some toxic positivity there. Journaling harder. I knew this lady a few months back. She's very wealthy, owned her own small business. Was really a good looking lady for age 50. And that was something she'd tell me. It's like, I'm getting better by journaling because she was getting over a death in her family and she still was struggling with it to the point where she wasn't doing well emotionally. Financially, she was a multimillionaire. But that's the difference between poverty and being a multimillionaire with sadness. Poverty is sadness. Poverty's depression, poverty's anxiety, everything revolving around your financial circumstances make your life nearly impossible. You can't escape. You can't go away for a week or two and forget your problems. No. You have to go right back to the very place that makes you depressed every single day. And that's your job. And things get much worse when you don't even have a job. A lot of the comments that I've been getting lately are, I don't even have the ability to feel bad about my income because I have no income. And I haven't been able to find a job in a long, long time is a very common thing that I hear on my channel. Long-term unemployment right now for poor people is very real. And like I've said before on this channel many times, it is entirely possible for you to spend your entire life without getting a job. Because when it comes to getting jobs, how you present yourself in a job interview, and if you're socially awkward like myself, chances are they're not going to want to hire you. Because when you hire someone, you hire them based on whether or not you think you can get along with them long term. Because when you hire people at a prison, these are your inmates. You can't leave. You're in the same cage. And until they open the cage to let you out at the end of the workday, you can't leave. Now, this is someone that's going to be close enough so that you can smell their feet, smell their breath, and know their personal hygiene habits. This is a person you have to listen to eat in the cage. This is a person whose problems you're going to have to hear about every single day. It's not like you're just hiring someone to make fries. You hire people and you're going to have to be around them. That's what a job interview is. Trying to get more inmates that you can get along with. But a lot of people don't see it that way. There are people out there, I don't know where they work or what they do, if they run the company wellness program, but there are people who truly believe that work is a good place, that people come to work hard and build careers and expand their lives. While you're scratching your head wondering why that person keeps bringing ramen to work in a Ziploc bag. Yeah, that happens. I mean, I told you guys about that story last week where a woman brought her ramen in a Ziploc bag and was breaking off little chunks of it to eat it raw. Disgusting, but the reality of daily life for the poor. Except their workday is a brunch meeting that ends at 2 p.m. and yours is a double shift where the register's short $7 and suddenly you're the criminal. They gamble away millions and call it innovation, but you buy a Starbucks twice this week and apparently you've ruined your life forever. But that's fine. Just cut out the avocado toast, stop existing, and you'll be rich in no time. Manifest those millions from your futon. This is it. Again, with the excuses as to why you're poor. It couldn't possibly be because you're making $15 an hour. Your poverty comes from a place deeper inside where you're not willing to hustle for it, where you're not willing to become basically every rich person on earth is a criminal. Their crimes against humanity are low wages, not understanding that poor people have to eat every day too, that poor people have to spend money on things like transportation, and that as poor people, they just don't have it. And as a rich person, it's your fault for hoarding all of those resources straight to the top and saying stupid things like poor people really don't know what to do with money. And it's true. A lot of the financial problems that poor people have are because no one taught them how to use their money. It's not like in public school, they're giving you how to make millions of dollars courses. They don't want you to learn any of that. Have you noticed that society kind of funnels you towards a certain lifestyle? Like poverty is the direct outcome of poor education when your education didn't include useful classes or parents that taught you anything. I come from poor immigrant parents who didn't speak English, who didn't know anything about money, and yet growing up in the 80s, they still managed to do everything they needed to do in life with whatever that job paid them. My parents weren't well qualified to do anything but clean and pick fruit. But yet they managed to manifest enough resources to own their own home and buy cars. Not one, not two, but three. Have a vacation home. And yet in our current society, you have college grads who are coming out of school in Gen Z who can't afford to do anything. They can't even afford to get a job because they don't have a car because they can't get you. In order to be able to create resources, you have to have resources. That's the irony of being alive today. You have to have stable housing, reliable car, a savings account, credit. Well, you can't get any of those things unless you're making a real paycheck. Because rent at the bottom will consume your entire paycheck, meaning no car and no food and no leisure whatsoever. You ask a poor person right now what they're thinking about doing on their next week off, if they even get that time off, they'll tell you the same thing. I can't afford to go anywhere, and I'm just going to sit at home with the lights off, just trying to conserve resources. Poor people sleep all the time because that's the only thing that they can do. I did an entire video about this on how the recreation of the poor has just become sleep. They can't afford to go anywhere or do anything or spend extra money. They don't have the extra money to spend. And when you're constantly looking for new ways of getting money, you don't really have free time. When you're sitting at home after work, that could be your part-time job. When you're sitting at home on the weekend, you should have been out there doing DoorDash. From the moment you woke up until the moment you go to sleep, you're expected to work in this society. 7 days a week, including holidays. There are no real days off anymore for people who are down there at the bottom making the least amount of money. There's no way that if you want to maintain your current lifestyle of being broke, you have to work more hours. And this is something I've told every Gen Z that I've ever met, is that you're going to have to work 7 days a week, 16 plus hours a day. Because even at that rate, you still won't make enough money in order to survive at the current prices in our world. It's just not possible. My video that I made, I think a couple months ago on the $77 minimum wage, that wage wasn't calculated by me. I fed ChatGPT what my current costs are in my life right now. And that's what it determined that my wage needed to be right now to afford to live. Now, you chop that down to 15 bucks an hour, and you can understand how ChatGPT would tell you you're not going to make it. It's like dropping you in the middle of the ocean and telling you, well, there's land in every direction, start swimming. That's what being poor feels like in our current society. So, is it your fault you're poor? According to the billionaires sipping champagne on their yachts, yes. According to reality, it's a system that makes poverty the default setting for most of us. The truth is, your bad decisions are just surviving inside rules they never have to play by. So go ahead, manifest your abundance, cut out the avocado toast, tell your landlord that you're paying rent with good vibes only, because in the end, poverty isn't a choice. It's the bill for living in this system. Well, what other system do we have? If we all had an alternative system of where we wanted to live, it wouldn't be in this system because it's vastly unfair for a large portion of the population. The proletariat can't live on good vibes alone. It can't even live on a little of good vibes. Every day, you've got to get to work, pull down your pants, and know that fleece is coming. He smells your sweet breath from the moment you walk into wherever you're at. Pound Town, Surf City, the Death Star, wherever you're at. Fleece knows. He's already prepared for you. He's well prepared. And you can see how happy he is by looking at his pants. You, on the other hand, well, you know that this isn't going to be good. But 8 hours of Pound Town is never good for the proletariat because it's not enough. Fleece is getting plenty because remember, more important than water, more important than food. What Fleece wants from you is to get rich. And the last thing you want is fleece. You don't want fleece anywhere near your sweet patootie. But he's got a craving. And all rich people have the same craving. They want to get rich as quickly as humanly possible. And the only way to do that is to exploit millions upon millions of people who can't hide their hidey hole. And that's what happens every single day. That's why none of us look forward to going to Pound Town. But what other choice do we have? What's that other reality? What's that other place that we can go to so the system is much fairer to? And I'm not talking about poor, like poor in the sense that you're living on the street. I'm talking about poor working class people. People putting in a 40, 50, 60-hour work week and still being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm dirt poor. I don't have enough food to eat today. I don't have enough money to pay my rent. My rent's due in, 2 days? And you're already thinking about excuses that you're going to make for not being able to pay it again. Why? Because you just don't have it. And the reality is that most people just don't have it. Even though they're trying, they're giving it their best shot at life, they're just not going to make it. And this is a day, things will get better next week. This is your entire life. It's going to continue like this. Because most people will never get a good job. And that's simple, the supply and demand. There aren't very many good jobs out there. And the need is great. Yet we all have to look at those jobs on Indeed and ask ourselves, do I really want to do this today? The choice is no, but you have to. And that's where I'm going to leave this video today, because we all have to do the things that we don't like to do. I don't like pulling down my tidy whities. Neither should you. But there is no alternative. All we can do is hope that it doesn't hurt this time.